Hey everyone, welcome to the Angst Podcast. My name is Jericho and thank you for tuning in to episode 11. For today's rant, I'm going to be going over universal basic income with you all. The idea is that I'm coming into my mid-20s here and I've recently had some opportunities where I can kind of feel the pressures of adulthood, of what it means to bring in monetary wealth and budget and spend. If you want to have a savings account and you need to buy food, you need to live on your own, you should buy clothes, you need to pay bills, you need a car, you should have health insurance, you should have dental insurance, you should have a gym membership, you should pay for social outings or entertainment. And it's tough. I think to be honest, we're living in probably one of the most expensive times in human history. I think inflation is at an all-time high right now, and I think it costs a lot to live. I think we all feel this pressure. Go to the grocery store and look at food right now. Go to a movie theater and look at how much it costs to buy a ticket. Go buy shoes or clothes and see what fashion costs nowadays. Try to buy a house in your local market. And I'm sure you felt the pressure in recent years about where the global economy is right now. It's expensive to live. Also, personally, kind of what's going on is that in my own existence, I live in Alberta, which is a province inside of Canada, and my government has recently decided to implement a $15 minimum wage increase. This is up from the $12 or $11 it was beforehand. I've had conversations with friends, family, and my peers, and a lot of people are infuriated by this fact. They think that you're giving individuals at the bottom of the barrel way too much money, that there's a reason that we have this spectrum of income, and that if you want to make more, you should better yourself, work harder, increase your education, and make more money. They believe that if we increase the minimum wage to this value, that it will destroy small businesses, it will inflate the entire market, it will essentially fuck up our economy. I don't know, guys. I'm not an economist. I'm not here to tell you what's going to happen. I'll get back to you at the end of 2018 when this implementation has taken place, and we can chat the effects then. But I think from a person-to-person standpoint, I kind of have to agree with the ethic. I believe that if you're somebody who's willing to dedicate 40 to 50 hours of your week, if you are a full-time employee for a corporation or a company, you should be compensated for that. That's a shit ton of time. If you're giving up a large majority of your existence to make somebody else money, you shouldn't have to live paycheck to paycheck. You should have enough to not only support yourself, but comfortably support yourself. So you don't have to live in fear of where your next meal is going to come from, or if you're going to be able to make rent at the end of the month. It's only logical. These are jobs that have to be filled. We need garbage men. We need mailmen. We need, basic minimum wage people. We need janitors to function. Our world needs them. These are jobs that are not going to go away. And the people that fill them shouldn't just get kicked out to the bottom of the wealth spectrum and say, well, good luck, you should just get a better job if it doesn't work. I agree with the ethic that if you're going to spend all of that time for somebody else, you should be compensated for your work. This is something that's really tough about living in a Western civilized culture, is we have a lot of momentum that's brought us to this point, guys. The reason we think the way we think is because we're capitalists. We're strong capitalists, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think capitalism presents a lot of great opportunities, and we've tried a lot of other systems that obviously didn't work, so here we are. But with capitalism comes this incorrect value of pull yourself up by your bootstraps. If times are tough, you should just work harder and things will get better. If you're a capitalist and you grind and give it all you have, that you will be successful and you will make monetary wealth. And I think that's a lie, guys. I don't believe that's true. It's definitely a variable and it's definitely a factor. Working hard will achieve success, and if you don't work hard, you will likely never be successful. I agree, that's fine. But it's not that black and white. It doesn't mean that the people at the top making the most are working the hardest. In fact, a lot of the times it's actually contrary. You could have a mother of two who's a single mom working 2 or 3 jobs, who's living paycheck to paycheck, barely making ends meet. Don't tell me that woman's not grinding. She's trying her hardest. She's been given a certain series of life circumstances, and this is the opportunity she's found herself in. I'll admit to myself, I come from a middle white class suburban family. I've been given money and opportunity in my life that other people's haven't. And I know that to be true. I didn't have to buy my first car. I was fed and I didn't have to pay rent for a good portion of my existence. I was given money to attend post-secondary education. I've had a lot of opportunity, and I thank my parents and my family for those opportunities, because given the state of the union and how expensive it is to live, man, my life would have been a lot more of a struggle if I had to do all that on my own. If I had to work from day one and pay for my own vehicle, for my own gym memberships, for my own phone plan, for my post-secondary education, for my food, for my house, for every single thing from a very early age, it would have been a struggle. I'm not going to lie, I'm very thankful for the benefits I received. And there are certain individuals in our society that come from lower income families, from, single parent households, from shittier education systems, and they don't have the same opportunities. That's not capitalism, guys. That's not a working hard thing. That's a circumstance issue. Life's not fair. It's different for everybody. And yes, hard work will give you a certain reward, but it's not black and white that you're going to make it. It's not 100% that you're just going to be fine if you work hard. We have this misconception that people that are riding the poverty line are bums, that they don't care, they don't try, or that they don't give back to society. Let me present to you a perfectly acceptable society that I struggle with, and it's the common housewife. If you were a 10, if you were a girl and you're a 10 out of 10, if you're just stunningly beautiful, you've got a great gene pool, you're smart and you're nice and you're funny, you have an opportunity in our modern day existence to marry rich. I'm not saying guys can't do this either, but it typically seems to occur for women. You can find a guy who has paved his own path, made his own monetary successes, and you can marry that man. And you don't have to work a day in your life. You don't have to give back or contribute to society almost at all. Yes, you probably clean the house and watch the kids and contribute in your own family circle. I'm sure that's fine. But where's this pull yourself up from your bootstraps, work hard mentality with the housewife? For the most part, she's just along for the ride, right? She's just benefiting from the monetary success of her husband. And nobody questions that life path. If you just want to marry into somebody who does well, you're a partnership. That's your private decision as citizens. You can do that and take care of one another. As a taxpayer, I don't want to take care of you. That's where we get into the gray area. I don't want my tax dollars taking care of some lazy bum I've never met. And I think that's where the gray area comes in for people. But this is what's tough, guys, is not everybody that's struggling is a bum. Not everybody that's struggling isn't working hard. There are a lot of really good, smart, hardworking people that right now in our society are paycheck to paycheck, that have a cortisol burst going through their body right now because they're stressed out about how they're going to feed themselves or how they're going to make more money or what they're going to do. And debt is piling up, and every single part of our society is designed to tempt you into spending more money, into giving back into the economy, into taking out loans, into getting new, shiny, brighter things. These impulses are everywhere. It's easy to spend money in this world, right? You want to educate yourself, you want to better yourself, you got to spend a lot of money. School's not cheap, education's not cheap. You want to live a healthy lifestyle, you want to eat organic vegetables, you want to eat grass-fed beef, you want to take supplements and better your body and your energy systems. It costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money, and you have to budget accordingly and be very smart on how you're going to spend. And I believe that if we gave out a universal basic income of a small amount, I'm talking, let's say $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 to all of our citizens, I think it would take away that drowningness feeling from a lot of people. I think those people that are right on the edge that are working hard would be given a little bit of extra air to breathe and relax and calm down. And I think it would make our entire society a little healthier. I think you give people opportunities to not be bums. There's this weird misconception that this isn't already happening in our society. It's that, I'm not going to give people money, they'll just abuse it. Guys, it already happens. We already have social welfare programs that whether you should or should not be there, whether this is a circumstance that was unavoidable or that you put yourself in, there are people that are taking free money in taxpayer dollars. Social welfare systems already exist and already occur. Introduce universal basic income and you slash away those systems. Why would we have a social welfare program when I've already given you $12,000 just to start? That is the welfare program. You're fucking welcome. You just got a huge boost, and it's your fault if you make the mistakes after the fact. It's a black and white issue now. We can accept it. I just gave you the boost necessary. We're not going to come in and give you any more after that. You can eliminate other social welfare programs. Here's another circumstance that occurs a lot is drug overdoses. You have people that abuse this system and take money from us all the time. If I want to consume fentanyl tonight and I overdose on fentanyl and I call 911, somebody will show up and save me. They will take me to a hospital. I will ride in an ambulance. They will administer prescription medications and I will sit in a hospital bed for X amount of hours or days. And I will spend a lot of money from the system. I will be a burden on the system to a certain extent because of my drug choices. But guys, this is happening regardless of if we like it or not. The money is being spent on taking care of people, whether we like it or not. And if people always ask, where are we going to get the money from? Where are we going to get $12,000 per citizen? How about we stop fighting wars? How about we stop blowing up people with bombs and guns? How about we stop spending trillions of dollars a day to be in the Middle East to fight for values or systems that obviously aren't working? We've been at war with these individuals for how many decades? How many cycles of presidents and leaders and different generations? It doesn't seem to fucking matter, does it? We're constantly at war. And the American industrial complex is a $1 trillion industry. We'll scrap it and give the money back to the people, see what happens. Again, I understand the complexities of this practice. I understand the complexities of getting money back out to everybody. But to me, it's starting to make a lot more sense. I think if jobs get lost from automation, if there's more people that exist than there ever have been before, and if there's not a lot of opportunity for people to work anymore, what do you want them to do? And why should everybody have to keep working? I mean, if our society progresses to a point where we have naturally healthy reoccurring resources, I'm talking solar power, tidal power, whatever it may be, naturally reoccurring resources that power artificially intelligent machines, 3D printers, and systems that create on their own in a sustained environment, why do we need 7-8 billion people working? Why can't we give people a certain little bit of income, allow them to have enough that they can sustain themselves, they can house themselves, and they can eat, and then see what people do? Give people the benefit of the doubt. Give them the opportunity to be great. Give them the opportunity to be creative. I know I sound like a fucking whiner here, guys, and maybe that's what I'm coming off as, but I do think life is really hard for a lot of people. And I think because of that, people can slip. And if you slip into debt, if you're right now in $10, $20, $100,000 worth of debt, you understand the anxiety you're feeling right now. This limits your ability to make decisions. This limits your ability to take risks. It is a modern day slavery to be in debt to an institution. If you've gone to school and you owe $150,000, yeah, I mean, it's fine. You're probably going to be a doctor and you're going to pay that back. But you have this looming cloud over you all the time of every single dollar you make, every single thing you do should have this debt in mind. And if you could give people just enough that they could take care of themselves on a basic level, that they wouldn't have to worry about sleeping or feeding or just functioning in our society, I think you may get a lot of citizens that become very creative and very prosperous. I think you'll eliminate a lot of stress and you'll open up the opportunity for people to impress you. And maybe I'm totally wrong, and I would love to hear that in the comments. I might be. I mean, this might be something that doesn't solve anything. I just think it would be something that would be interesting to try and implement. I think the world is changing and we have so many different circumstances that weren't necessarily in the past that it wouldn't have made sense to just give people things before. But now with the way that the world's kind of shaping up and how it's going to play out, it might be something that's required. And we can only dig our heels in for so long. So we'll have to see what happens. Anyways, thanks guys. I really appreciate you guys listening to that one. And if you guys like the podcast, if you're enjoying what you're hearing, please leave a like at the bottom or subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out and I appreciate it a lot. And we'll see you next time.